Hi, my name is Jeremy, and today I want to talk to you about this topic about how to build a great team during this COVID-19 crisis. Now, this crisis is driving everybody crazy, right? I'm sure you're going through a lot of stress and your team is facing a lot of difficulties, but I always wonder about this question that is it possible for something good to actually come out of this crisis? And I really think that this is a good time for us to build a great team that will help us when the market rebounds. Okay, but before we go on, let me just introduce to you. The ideas I'm going to share with you comes from this book, Scaling Up by Vern Harnish. Vern is a great business teacher who has taught me a lot and has helped thousands of companies to scale up. And some of the ideas I'm going to share with you comes from a communication with Vern during this crisis period where he writes his insights to help business leaders. And who am I? My name is Jeremy. I'm a scaling up coach. I work with Vern in this region to help companies implement scaling up. And during this period of time, I've been talking to a lot of my clients who are CEOs of companies in Asia, like you, and just hearing from them and understanding what they're going through. And so I want to share with you some of the lessons that we have learned as we work on this situation together. So, what I want to share with you is really about how communication is the key to building a great team during this COVID-19 crisis. It is really all about doom and gloom. But yet, if we were to remember, the market will surely recover, right? How do we take advantage of that? The key thing is really to have a great team. So, the three things I want to share with you today, the three things are first, how do we make better decisions, right? In this period of time, people are just panicking. A lot of CEOs are just wanting to make a lot of knee-jerk reactions. So how do we help people to make better decisions? And that is really about getting people to talk it out. The second one is how do we get people aligned, right? In this crisis, we need the whole team aligned together in one direction, focusing on a few key things. And the third one is how do we give people stability in the middle of a crisis, giving them a sense of normalcy even when the whole world goes crazy. So let's talk about the first one. This is from a communication with Vern, who sent out his newsletter to CEOs to help them understand things better. And in one of them, I think is critical. And the advice here is talk, 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 and then talk some more. Why is this important? It is really because when we take a step back and we talk out the problems and we allow the other people to hear and ourselves to hear it, we tend to be able to make better decisions. I really think this is true because so many of the CEOs that I work with, they're actually under a lot of pressure. And when I talk to them and I get them to slow down and just talk through the decisions to let them articulate their feelings, their concerns, the conflicting thoughts in their head, they tell me that they actually make better decisions after that. So talking is very, very important. So are you giving your people a chance to talk about the concerns that they have, to talk about the problems that they're facing, and even to talk about what they think they should be doing in this company during this crisis? So I would like you to do what Vern suggests here, is to set a KPI this week on how many minutes of talk time that you have. Allow your team to talk and set a goal. Set a goal even for yourself as the leader. How much time do you want to spend to talk to each of your key people? Let them talk it out. And in turn, for yourself, give yourself time to talk about your concerns to somebody. And if you want to talk to me, I'm going to give you my contact at the end of this session so you know how to contact me. It is imperative for you to talk it out. In order to make better decisions, you need to talk it out. The second thing I want to share with you is really about alignment. How do we get people to feel that they're in control? So I'm sharing with you here a message sent to me by one of my clients. When I talked to him 2 weeks ago, he was really in a flux. He was really struggling with this question of whether should he let people go, because when a country goes into lockdown, his entire business is in hospitality. So can you imagine hotels, restaurants, travel agencies, airline? His family owns all of these, and suddenly he says there's no business for the next 6 months. And the immediate thought that came to his mind is, do I need to let people go? But after talking to him and letting him articulate his fears, and I got him to think about some things, and this is his message. But what I want you to see here are a few very key important things, and that is this. The core team is very much aligned and doing the daily huddles every day. The daily huddles is a system where we allow everybody to talk about the priorities and their concerns and the good news for the day. And now there's much alignment in this team because they feel that they will go through this together. The key thing is getting them aligned on that few things that's important, and how do we as a team tackle these few things and work on these few things. And here it says that we are going to look after staff as much as possible. We got various plans that we are all working on, and this has given us confidence. But here he says, but everyone is making an effort from our leadership team, which is great. Now, to give you a little bit of a context, this is a leader who has found it difficult to align his team for a long time. But now when this crisis comes, giving them a few key things to work on and say these are important to us. Let's align and talk about them every day and work towards them. And then this is where he says the magic happenings. And he told me in a separate message, he says the culture is really coming alive. You see, people need that sense of normalcy, and this is what we call giving them stability when the world is going crazy, right? And how do you give people stability? And that is when they need routine. So this is the pictures that I'm showing you is the screenshots of a client that does their daily huddles very, very religiously. They are very disciplined. You can look at all these faces. Now we're entering a new normal. People are doing daily huddles in Zoom because this country is also in a lockdown, right? So even though they are in a lockdown in different places, but they keep to that rhythm that give people a sense of normalcy. So they still get to do what they are familiar with, which is the daily huddle. Those routines like this are very good because people need to know every day that, hey, there's some sanity, there's some things that we still need to keep going. The company is still functioning. This is another screenshot of another company whose country is in a lockdown, and this comes from the very screenshot of the CEO herself. And this is the daily huddle of a key team. And she shared this on LinkedIn and said, this is how we keep the company going. Every day at 9 a.m., we all huddle and come together as though things are normal, even though the world is going crazy. So these are the things that people need. And this is what we call a rhythm. Every company needs a rhythm. Can you imagine listening to music with no rhythm? It just goes crazy, right? So the same with a company. The company needs a rhythm like a daily huddle, a weekly huddle, a monthly meeting, a quarterly review. Now, these things tell people what to do exactly, and they give them a sense of routine. Now, but of course, every one of these has a specific objective which is meant for it, and you need to stick to that, right? Give people that sense of rhythm. And now in this particular time when people are working from home, people are working remote, that sense of rhythm and stability is even more important. And that is how you want to hold a team together so that when things are better, they come back, the team continues its rhythm and discipline to grow the business. Start with the daily huddle because that's the easiest. And what do you want to do in a daily huddle is just three things, right? Start with the good news. What's the good news for today? Good news is even more important even during a time like this. But we want to start with something positive. Then what's your priority for the day? What is that number one most important thing you need to focus on that will help your company to achieve its goals? So this gets people to focus on the right things rather than having their minds distracted, especially when they work from home. They don't have one thing to focus on. They'll start to be distracted and start doing all kinds of things that are not important. So get them to share first the good news, then what's my priority, what's the most important thing I need to get done today. And third would be, where am I stuck? Is there something, am I facing an obstacle, am I facing something that's going to stop me from doing what I have to do, and whose help do I need? Call out for help. Now, we are in a remote situation. It's even more important. You cannot allow anybody to suffer in silence. So people need that sense of normalcy. And what I really want to use analogy is that this rhythm is the heartbeat of your company. Now, when you have a regular heartbeat during times when things are normal, when times are stressful and crazy like it is now, that sense of regular heartbeat is going to be what keeps your body going. But if your body does not have a regular heartbeat, what happens when it goes under stress is that the heart will stop, right? And that's why a lot of companies are feeling so much stress now, is because they don't have that regular heartbeat that build that team, guide that team, and keep the team together. So my question to you is, does your company have a regular or an irregular heartbeat? So the key takeaways I want to share with you today is really use this opportunity to build that culture of accountability and consistency during this crisis. When people are still held accountable and have a consistent way of doing things, they feel secure. They feel that the team is safe. Now, build a team by letting people contribute ideas, share problems, hear one another out. And this is where the rhythms is so important because now people are working away, right? People are working in different locations. They cannot feel isolated. They need to feel that team is still together. And lastly, this is a perfect opportunity to build leaders by teaching people how to focus on priorities and results. You see, this crisis is not meant to make us weaker, it's not meant to distract us, it's actually meant to make us stronger. So I hope that through these few things you can do, it will help the key people in your team or even the next generation of leaders to rise up by helping them to be focused, by giving them a sense of alignment and helping them to feel that the team is going to overcome this crisis and become stronger. So once more, my name is Jeremy. I'm a scaling up coach. I help companies apply scaling up principles into the business and to scale. So this is my YouTube channel. If you think this video is helpful, I have a whole series there on the COVID crisis, on what your company can do to thrive during this crisis, or even a more difficult question for a lot of companies: how do I cut costs? So I've got videos on this and other videos on how to scale up your business. And if you want to get in touch with us, this is the email: grow@growthcatalyst.com.sg. Write to us if you want more resources or if you just need somebody to talk. Get in touch with us, or if you need resources to work with your team through this crisis, let us know as well. Thank you for listening to this video, and I hope to see you again. Happy scaling up your business even through this crisis.